After the traumatic events of in Kansas City, Joel and Ellie make it to Jackson, Wyoming, where Joel is reunited with his long-lost brother Tommy. Tommy informs Joel that he and his wife Maria are expecting a child. Joel confides in Tommy about Ellie's immunity while also describing his mental state. Joel asks Tommy to take Ellie to the Fireflies as he's afraid that he won't keep her safe. Ellie overhears them. Joel and Ellie get into a confrontation during which Joel states that they will part ways in the morning. In the morning, Joel changes his mind after remembering his daughter Sarah and how much he cares for Ellie, and they head to Colorado. While Joel and Ellie look for the Fireflies, they see a group of men outside. While Joel and Ellie attempt to escape, one of the men attacks Joel. Joel kills him but gets stabbed. Afterward, Joel passes out from stab wound. Thanks for stopping by the Search T channel. I am Search T, and that is the synopsis of episode 6 of The Last of Us, titled Kin. And as we saw the ending of this episode, it appears that Joel died. But we don't know that. We have to wait to see the next episode. I saw a preview after watching the recent episode, and there's no sign of Joel in it. Like the synopsis says, he passed out from the stab wound, but is he going to no longer be in this series? We see in the next episode that you see her, I believe they're playing basketball, they're in PE uniforms, and she got punched. Ellie did. She has a bruiser, a black eye in her eye, and everything like that. And you see her with this girl that kind of does echo and does take after the series. She's with this girl in the series, but the video game. And I guess they're going along with that here as well. So you don't see a lot of Joel in the preview. We see her and this girl, and you see the girl go, when I say so, however she says it, run. So apparently they are being confronted by, I guess, infected. They didn't really show it, but anyway, let's talk about this episode. It's about Joel and his brother Tommy reuniting, and Joel finds out that Tommy is with this girl Maria, whom of course they bump into, Joel and Ellie do, while they are on horseback. And that episode, that scene really was a very tense one because they had a dog. The dog can smell if you're infected, and according to the guy, he says that if you're infected, this dog is trained to tear you apart. Of course, goes to Joel and he's very, very calm. And then goes to Ellie. Ellie is very panicked, looking at Joel. Her eyes are darting, and she's afraid, and she's stepping back a little bit, But then all of a sudden you hear her giggle and laugh, and the dog was actually going to bark a little bit and started approaching Ellie, and pretty much all the dog did was, cuddle up to Ellie, and Ellie was having a little bit of fun and with the dog, and her putting her, the dog is licking her face, or looks like that, or her face was close to the dog's face, so the dog couldn't sense her being infected. So they dodged that bullet. And then when he says that he's looking for his brother, then I guess it clicked in Maria's head that maybe he's talking about talking about Tommy. And then they bring them back, and he sees Tommy, very emotional, very nice moment there. They're very teary-eyed, very glad and relieved to see each other, give each other a big hug. And they're in some type of a community there, and it's safe. They have everything you could ever need, more food than you could ever want to have and eat. Even Ellie and Joel, especially Ellie, were really grubbing down on the food, and even Maria said, "Hey, there's more where that came from." And Ellie's able to take a shower, and then she gets a new jacket. She didn't like it because it was too purple, like an avocado. you know. And there's that one scene where Ellie gets a haircut from Maria, and Maria, you on the chalkboard you see kind of a memorial, date of birth and death of Kevin and one of Sarah. Now, Ellie says, "I'm sorry for the death of your kids," and she said, "Well, Kevin," and Sarah is Joel's, and you see the look on Ellie's face, like what, like because she's never was told, and she said, "Well, I guess I understand. I kind of understand why he's the way he is, because you know how he is. He's very moody. He's very secretive. He keeps a lot of stuff to himself. He's told Ellie a bunch of stuff and a lot of things, but not anything about his daughter. And the mission is still they got to get to Colorado, but during they're about to go, or he wants to plan to leave the next day. He talks to Tommy, tells him that he is slow or he's getting old, and he doesn't react. He can't react quickly. I mean, he did this dealing with Ellie. He didn't do anything for the dog to the dog. He didn't stop the dog because the dog could have torn her apart. And I believe he's referencing also to the daughter too. And there's a little correlation between his love for his daughter and also his growing uh, affection for Ellie. Like that's his daughter too. And even Ellie knows that if Joel dies, she's nothing. When he first collapsed, when they exited from that old couple's cabin there, little house, and she pretty much tells him, hey, are you okay? Because if you die, pretty much saying she's pretty much saying she's fucked. Like she doesn't know where to go. She doesn't know where how to find her brother. His brother. Because that was the way he wanted to do first, and then they go to Colorado. So that is so true because it's like she is not going to be able to know where to go. She's still 14 years old. She's still a kid, even though she's a teenager. But she's not world traveled. She's not like Joel and like Tommy, where they had a life in the open world. She's always been in the QZ. She's always been there, and she's kind of been sheltered from the outside world, even though she's, like you said, read all the books in the libraries and stuff like that. So she knows some things, but not life experiences. That's why I'm kind of really interested in the next episode because you can see, actually, I guess it sees that she's in a school, or I think the guy said this is how things are done at the police academy or something like that. I don't know if she's training to be a. I don't know. I don't know how long after the incident in the events here in episode 6. I don't know how far in the future that is. Maybe a year or so. Maybe, who knows. But this episode really was, except for like the run-in with the Raiders, where Joel, ends up killing that one guy, but then he gets stabbed, and then they get out of there in the nick of time when you got those 3 other dudes running after him. And Ellie's like looking like John Wayne, shooting back at him while on horseback. Um, but yeah, it was a lot. A lot of it was just dialogue driven, and a lot of it was just about the story and about the circumstances surrounding him and his brother, and a new life that he now has, and the fact that he is married and has a child on the way. Him talking about Tommy talking about how much about how what kind of a father he's going to be. There's tension between him and Joel, and Joel goes, "Yeah, well, I guess we're gonna find out," and that kind of rubs Tommy the wrong way. And it's basically pretty much saying like, you're hanging on to the past, and you're hanging on to what would be what we've done in the past and things like that, and pretty much saying you're too moody, and him, it's like he's moved on. He's pretty much trying to forget that life that they had before, and he's moving on with his wife and his kid that's coming up. But then he also volunteers to bring Ellie to the Fireflies, because the area between where they're at and that area, it's at a university, you know, where he claims that they are there. That's when they go there, and of course they get have a run-in with the raiders and everything. But I think he didn't want to go because he didn't want to jeopardize or risk his life because he had a baby coming and he had a new wife. But then he was able, then he said, "Yeah, I'm going to, volunteer, and I'll take her because I know the area better." And even Joel was like, in the morning we're parting ways. Said it to Ellie. I said after they had a really really tense moment, a confrontation where Ellie even said, I'm sorry for your loss and things like that. And then he's like, "Oh, you don't know nothing about loss." And he's talking about how I've had people die on me and people leave me. And the last person she would ever think would leave her would be Joel. But Joel was still adamant, "I'm going to leave." And he's doing that not because he doesn't want it. He doesn't care about her. It's just the fact that his daughter died. He failed to, protect her. He failed to protect Tess too. He failed to protect Ellie pretty much when the dog could have tore her apart. And he doesn't want to face a situation where he's going to fail Ellie and she's going to die. Because she represents the last hope for humanity. A possible cure, once they get her blood and then they do what they need to do in the lab, whatever, to pretty much try and save the world and reverse the effects on those infected, you know. But yeah, a lot of things going on in this episode, and great to see Tommy. Look at his life he has now, the beautiful community there, and watching movies, and being able to celebrate Christmas, and putting up all these decorations. You hear a caroling going on and stuff like that, and the beautiful thing, right? But Joel knows that he can't stay around and stick around and kind of just let that all soak in and be able to do that, because he knows he has a mission. He knows he has a job to do and a promise to Tess that she said, whatever happens, you got to bring her to them. I wonder if Marlene and the others are going to be there. I mean, Marlene was wounded. I don't know. Did she die? I'm not sure. When they finally get to to Colorado. But like I said, man, I am so just enthralled with Bella Ramsey's performance. Every time I see her, every time they show the camera's on her and she delivers her line and she's playing the role of Ellie, I just can't help but not take my eyes off her. She is such a presence. She has a charisma. I love the way she portrays this role. The way she is able to just own it. And I'm still not, taken aback or kind of thrown by her always using the bad language and use that, because it works for her character. It's not like, if those of you remember RoboCop 2 and that kid, and he was like cussing every other word and it just seemed forced. There's other performances by kids too that they do that, and I'm like going, seems forced. But with Ellie, she's just like that. That's just her character. That's how she talks. That's how she sees the world. She's just like, she's not filtered. There's no filter on her. When she was there in that town there, and I went with Maria, talking to Tommy and all that stuff, and then she's pretty much, Maria tells her, I mean, none of the kids talk like that. They don't have like that. She goes, "Well, do you want me to teach them?" Because these kids, they're sheltered. They're not. They're I don't know. I don't know why they don't have that thing, but I think Ellie would be an influence. Like a bad one. I don't know. If these kids are so like, they're not cursed, they don't do any of that things. They don't talk bad or anything like that. But Ellie's an honest person, and she doesn't filter herself. She doesn't have, like I said, she has no filter. So she just speaks her mind, and that's refreshing. And like I said, Bella Ramsey is just amazing as Ellie. And for people to say that she doesn't look like she fits the role, and she doesn't look like, why would she? Like, we understand there's people that wanted what's her name? Oh, what's her name? Oh, now known as Elliot Page, but then she was known as Ellen Page, and they wanted her to perform, and she does look like Ellie, but just because she looks like her. But then again, this is a situation where if they would have went with the original plan, years ago, I believe they wanted to do a movie, And if they've chosen her, she's a great actress. Ellen Page, well now Ethan Page, not Ethan Page, Elliot Page. Ethan Page is a pro wrestler. Elliot Page, that's her name now. Yeah, she would have pulled it off because she's a great actress. But sometimes, like I said in the past that I was talking, past reviews, past recaps. Sometimes you need to go with a good actor. The person doesn't really have to look like the person. It's a plus. So that way you're not jarred by if you watch her. But I'm pretty sure that right now, if people are not used to Bella Ramsey and they're just forgetting about, she doesn't look like her. Yeah, but she's portraying her. She does the role very well. This is an amazing actress. From the moment that we saw her in Game of Thrones, 9 years old, and being the badass that she is, she's in control of an entire place, an entire community, an entire house. The Mormont, right? And she was just amazing in that role. 9 years old. I'm thinking, so it doesn't surprise me how well she's doing this role. She's a British actress with a British accent and everything like that, but then when she does this role, she has the American accent down. And you don't hear nothing, that tells you otherwise. And then when you hear her talk, especially when inside the episode kind of things, after the episode when you watch it and she's talking and I go, oh, that's right, she's British. You forget sometimes because her accent is so spot on, her American accent. But like I said, this episode was very, very good. I really, really do enjoy this show, and I just finished House of the Dragon, which went out with a bang, an amazing fun, show, and I can't wait for season 2. There's already been an announcement for that, and I intend on doing another show Wednesday. I'll be doing that on Wednesdays. I'll be doing it in place of House of the Dragon, so I'm looking forward to watching that, and it's going to be really, really. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. A lot of people are talking really, really good about it. It was dropped all at once on Netflix, and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna just week to week. I'm gonna do it. But in a way, like I said, I did enjoy this episode, and we see kind of a cliffhanger. Joel passing out seemingly from the wound, but did he die? Like I said, in the next episode, I don't believe I saw Joel in it, and maybe it's just gonna focus on Ellie. So we're gonna have to see. But anyway, that's my recap and my thoughts on Kin, the name of the 6th episode of season 1 of The Last of Us. Well, anyway, that's my video. So for those of you who stopped by and checked it out, I appreciate it. Thank you for your support. And in closing, as always, take care.